Hello and welcome to another episode of The Film Blurs, episode 46. My name is Brandon Norwood, aka Hero Protagonist, aka the true father of Joe's kids, aka Poppy Chulo, aka the Glizzy King. What do you say when you see a grown man eating a glizzy?
Ayo!
Aka Mr. Krusty, aka
The Lethal Protector,
aka Rough McGruff,
aka ooh, they glowing, baby. Ooh, they glowing.
What's glowing? What's glowing?
These nuts. AKA B Wood, the Magnificent.
And I, as always, I am Jeff Stewart, aka Uncle Jeffrey, aka J. Otis Dynamite,
aka Revenge Button, aka He Who Remains, aka
Patty Ruxpin,
aka Jobo Tupaki, aka that motherfucker, aka To Be Determined.
All right. So let's dive right in. We're going to dive right into fucking Marvel shit. Ant-Man and the Marvels have swapped release dates. At this point in juncture, I feel like Ant-Man 3 might be the last fucking MCU movie I see, just because you'll hear about it later, but I'm just like kind of burnt out on this motherfucker.
It's quickly becoming Star Wars.
Oh, I was thinking that today because a new trailer for Kenobi dropped like an hour ago, and I watched it, and I was just like, cool. I'll watch this, but like I'm not excited. Captain Marvel 2, it has two characters that are from the comics I really love, and like after Doctor Strange, I'm like, do I even care about these motherfuckers anymore?
I honestly stopped caring at Endgame. Endgame was the last movie where I was like emotionally invested.
Yes.
And I was hoping I was hoping they would build it up.
Yes.
I was hoping like, all right, we're going to phase 4. You know what? Let me take that back. No Way Home. Endgame really, and then No Way Home. But after that, like I'm done. I'm burnt out.
Yeah. With Marvel in mind and keeping on Marvel, because they had a lot of news on Friday because of the release date shuffle, and then something big happened. Kevin Feige announced that John Watts, the director of the new Spider-Man trilogy, and I'm pretty sure he'll come back once he's had some rest and made another movie, is leaving Fantastic Four. And I was like, oh, fucking good. Because if he did Fantastic Four, that means he'd be stuck in two Marvel franchises for the rest of his life. Because we know they're doing another trilogy with Tom Holland.
And, God bless these directors who come in and salvage and reinvigorate these franchises. But after a while, they just get fucking burnt out. And then you start getting bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
It becomes a job at that point.
Yes, yes. Look, he's fed his pockets, but now he has to feed his soul. Like, he needs to take some time off, make another cop car, and then dive into the next Spider-Man trilogy, because
I forgot he did Cop Car.
Yeah, see, that's what got him Spider-Man was Cop Car.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
a fucking excellent movie.
We'll talk about it next week about who I think should direct Fantastic Four. I think the choice is obvious now. But
Go ahead. Who?
We'll just leave it at that.
Oh yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Yeah, I got you. 100 on the same level.
Another thing happened last week. Justin Lin left after a week of shooting Fast X, just 6 days into production. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is bad, number one, because Justin Lin's the only person who understands this movie, understands this franchise. Justin Lin reinvigorated this franchise where people started taking it seriously, and he understood the tone. Like, you have to have it dramatic and serious at the same time and pull it off to where it works to the cast strength and make the stories pop. Because 5, 6, he did 4, 5, 6, and most recently 9. Like, he did Tokyo Drift, but we kick that one to the curb.
But also, he added humor and a soul to this.
Absolutely.
And he understood that it was, not to be taken. It's right on that razor sharp line. It's not to be taken seriously, but if you take it, if it's not supposed to be taken seriously, but you make it serious, that's the perfect tone, and that's why they put a fucking Fiero in space, and you bought it because
Yeah.
he was the one who was like, "This is fucking ridiculous, but we're gonna do it. We're we're not gonna wink at the audience.
Yes. Yes.
We're just gonna make it."
It I think the reason why these tones work too is because starting with the fourth one, you actually start giving a shit about these characters and they become human. You know what I'm saying? Just like,
Right.
and so the fact that he's not going to take this franchise out is concerning. They lost $1 million a day because it was over the course of 4 days. They were looking for a director, and the front runners were F. Gary Gray because he did Fate of the Furious, which is the 8th one, and then David Leitch, who did the spinoff.
Right.
And they instead got Louis Leterrier
Leterrier?
or
Leterrier.
Louis, since he's French, so I'm pretty sure it's Louis Leterrier. And I'm just like, all right, sure, fuck. I mean, fuck.
I mean, just drag it across the finish line at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
I
if
mean,
that's
shit.
and
this,
I
go ahead.
yeah, and I get it. I get it from a studio perspective because no director with any sort of like vision is going to want to come in and have Justin Lin's sloppy seconds. No one's gonna like because if anyone who comes in is gonna want to like, all right, well, let's do something with the script. Let me,
Build from the
let's
ground up.
build up from the ground up, and no one that would make this movie interesting is going to do that.
Absolutely.
And we tried that with fucking with Justice League, and we saw how well that went.
And you know what? I think it's also no director wants to come back and deal with fucking Vin, to be honest with you.
Right. And we all know that it's Vin Diesel is the reason Justin Lin walked away. How bad of an asshole are you that a motherfucker is willing to walk away from 10 to 14 million dollars?
Yeah, that was his payday. But I mean, he's still going to get paid because he's still a producer on it, and he's still his script is still being used.
Right. But like, that's still a lot of money to walk away from, and God bless him for like a lot of weaker men was like, let me just put up with this and make my money.
I mean, to be fair, man, Justin Lin is a good director because not for nothing, he went off and he did the first couple episodes of season 2 of True Detective, and despite those scripts, his direction was solid in those. Same with the third Star Trek movie. Like, that was a solid ass standalone adventure that closed out that trilogy. Like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm not sleeping on Justin Lin at all, and like I said, much respect to him for saying, you know what, I don't fucking need this.
Yeah.
So Vin Diesel has isolated or alienated The Rock, the most likable man on fucking earth, and the director who pretty much took this franchise, which, I mean, honestly, before Justin Lin, this was going to be a nosedive.
It was they were contemplating putting this direct to video. That's why Vin came back, is because Universal, after Tokyo Drift, Universal was just like, okay, we can make more of these, but they could just go direct to video, like the American Pie series. And Vin Diesel's like, oh, fuck you are. And it took that for him to come back, which is sad.
Yeah. So
I mean, the Hollywood Reporter had put out a report on Monday saying that really what happened, because they're connected and they talk to people. It was a combination of Vin Diesel and the studio. Like, the studio was giving him notes, and I'm like, y'all wait till now to start caring. Like we got 2 more left in the chamber. Like, and y'all are the ones who are gonna start giving notes on this fucking franchise where 2 niggas went to space in a fucking Pontiac Fiero. This is where y'all were like, oh, we're gonna start giving Justin Lin notes.
Right. Like, let's just remember some of the things in the Fast and the Furious series, right? they fought a nuclear submarine with a whole bunch of cars with snow tires on them. They jumped a supercar from building to building in Dubai. Like,
The
what
Rock
notes do
pushed
you
a missile with his fucking hand.
right? Like, what notes are you giving?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, eat a dick. So, yeah. I guess we're going out with a whimper for this series, which is a shame because all these spinoffs are coming, and all these spinoffs are just going to be like,
yeah.
Because
I mean, maybe we'll be surprised. We'll be surprised, maybe.
I mean, nine set up all the spinoffs. You know what I mean?
Right. But yeah, well, family, dog, family. I'm gonna miss you.
All right, so let's move into our final bit of news, which is CinemaCon happened all last week, and I was texting Jeff about it almost at the hour every day because there's like news breaking like every minute from this motherfucker, in addition to everything else that's going on.
Right.
So it started on Tuesday with Sony, and Sony's basically like coming out like, doing the pop lock.
Fucking dick swinging.
Yeah,
they thinking, oh
like,
shit.
What's that? Spider-Man still in theaters? What's that? We made $2 billion without China? Oh, what's that? We delayed the digital release because it was still making so much money in theaters? Oh, okay. All right. So they basically came out. They gave the audiences the first 15 minutes of Bullet Train, which was David Leitch, because David Leitch was there. They say the first 15 minutes looks incredible. Bad Bunny is there because that's where the movie stops. The movie stops right where the fight between Bad Bunny and Brad Pitt starts.
Right.
CinemaCon. The other thing they did is they brought out Viola Davis to show off like some behind the scenes stuff from her upcoming movie, The Woman King. I thought this was coming out in January. This is coming out in September.
Oh, word? Okay.
And I didn't even know this. Gina Prince Blythewood is directing this.
Oh.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Gina Prince Blythewood, she did some really great movies. She did Love and Basketball, Beyond the Lights, and I know everybody's seen this shit. What's that movie on Netflix? The Old Guard.
Yeah, The Old Guard, yeah.
The Old Guard was hard as fuck. So she's doing this. What?
I fuck with that movie. I had some issues with some of the scripting, but like beyond that, it was for Netflix. That was nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. I'm hoping The Woman King is good. They also got to see the first 15 minutes of Spider-Man
into the
Across the Spider-Verse. That's what the second one's called. And they announced, Lord and Miller was there, and Lord and Miller presented it. And from what we've been told, that first 15 minutes is far from being finished, but it is amazing. They delayed the movies a piece by a year because it's taking that long to make it, and they want to make it better. And they also changed the titles of both of them. So it was supposed to be Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and 2. They dropped the Part 1 from the first one. So now it's just Across the Spider-Verse. And then the third movie is going to be called Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Which is a better naming convention.
Yeah, man, because I'm tired of this Part 1, Part 2 bullshit.
Right, yeah.
Quite honestly.
Yeah, like they're two separate movies. They're connected, but like they are two separate movies. So let's give them the honor of having two fucking separate names.
So Sony closed out, and they saved this for last because they just threw this out as a bone, just be like, oh yeah, we're doing this, and run off the stage because they knew they were going to get clowned. Sony announced a third Venom movie, no brainer, right? Obviously. Right. But in addition to that,
this. Go ahead.
Sony is making a Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man offshoot, with Bad Bunny starring as what's this character's name?
El Muerto.
And my first thought was, who the fuck is
El Muerto?
I did some research. This motherfucker was in exactly 4 comic books, bro.
4? I thought it
4.
was 2, so 4.
So he starts off a Spider-Man villain, ends up at the end of the his little 4 comic arc teaming up with Spider-Man, and then he fucks off and goes somewhere, and he's never been seen again. So that's
El Muerto.
keep this in mind, folks. Sony owns the rights to maybe 100 different versions of Spider-Man. You could do Ben Reilly, who is Peter Parker's clone. You could do Silk, who is this Asian woman who's been joining the Avengers. You could do Jessica Drew. Everybody knows Jessica Drew. That's Spider-Woman. You could do Spider-Gwen. You could do Peter and MJ's daughter, which is Mayday Parker. MJ Mayday Parker.
You could do a live action Miles Morales.
Yeah, you could do, well, that I know what they're doing with that. You could do Miguel O'Hara. Miguel O'Hara is Spider-Man 2099. He's very popular. He's a Hispanic character. Why though? And I understand you need we need more representation. I'm all for that. Right. Latino audiences need something. But why the fuck are you doing a luchador named
El Muerto?
Like, come on, man. You saw how guys, Morbius just came and went, and y'all greenlit this motherfucker.
Isn't Morbius already on demand? Like, isn't it like?
Probably.
We've already established our feelings on it. Sony, stop fucking around and give us 3 concurrent Spider-Men. Give us the Andrew Garfield, give us Tobey Maguire, and give us Tom Holland all at the same fucking time. You've established it. It works, and you will get money. Especially
since on this press tour, Sam Raimi says he wants to do it now. Fucking Toby said, yeah, I want to do one more, just at least for the fans. And even Kirsten Dunst, who hated doing those movies, is like, yo, I want to come back as old MJ with kids. Right. I want people to see like I'm raising spider children.
Right. So the fact that you're pulling E-team characters and like not even like B, not C, E. Nigga.
No, I'd say
F team characters, right? Like, and trying to make them a thing. Stop it. Stop, man.
Kraven the Hunter next January.
Right. Like, I just make up some new shit then. Like at this point, just make up new how about some original content? You know, make a superhero movie it has nothing to do with the comic book. And then you can go as wild as you fucking want. Just come on, Sony.
I'll say this because they're still in the tank for this. Nobody wants to see Silver Sable. Nobody wants to see Black Cat, especially Black Cat. Black Cat, her whole fucking deal is dependent on Peter.
Right.
Like she flirts, wants to fuck him, and Peter's like, nah, fuck out of here. You're a criminal. Like, yo, like I don't know why y'all keep doing this shit. Y'all own literally all these characters and paying billions of dollars to own the rights for this shit. Why? Like, yo, we could have Silk right now. When if they came out and were like, yo, there's a live action Silk, I'd be like, oh, word? Oh, word? Yeah. You know how much money like bitches would lose their mind? An Asian woman run around.
You have established it. You have made it a thing because of No Way Home. You can do this shit.
Absolutely.
But like you're thinking that short money, like someone who's the dude who tweeted is like in the Sony offices, this is how the meeting goes, like we want to be in the Bad Bunny business.
Which I get, yo. You could be in the Bad Bunny business. You know who you cast Bad Bunny as? Get that nigga to play Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. You know, yo, everybody would be like, fuck yeah, all right.
El Muerto.
Y'all niggas should be ashamed of yourselves.
They're not. They're sleeping comfortably at night on a pillow filled with $1,000 bills.
All right, well, let's move on to Disney because this happened the next day on Wednesday. Disney, they don't give a fuck because they're like, yeah, we're making money anyways. Like, we'll give y'all niggas scraps, and then that's that. They showed a little sizzle reel of everything that's coming to theaters, including a tantalizing tease of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. They're really pushing the women to the forefront, it looks like. But it wasn't a big tease because, again, it's part of a sizzle reel. So the biggest thing from Disney is they showed the first 20 minutes of Doctor Strange. They showed the first 30 minutes of Lightyear, and the first 30 minutes of Lightyear had the whole theater, or the whole, because this takes place in Caesar's Palace, and the auditorium in Caesar's Palace is huge. It fits like 5,000 people, maybe 10,000. They said there wasn't a dry eye at the end of that 30 minutes. I'm like, nigga, this is the first 30 minutes. How can you be crying already?
Pixar knows how to do it. They got the formula down.
Damn, dog. Like 30 minutes? So
yeah. So that's at the 30-minute mark. So imagine at the hour 29 mark, or however long this thing is, man, you're gonna have to call your therapist.
Jeff, we talked about it when we met up because we both saw a movie in IMAX over the weekend. Did you get before the movie started, did you get the Lightyear preview?
No, just because I showed up late.
Okay.
So I showed up right as the movie started.
Yeah, that's it. Yo, that IMAX shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't need another excuse to see Everywhere. I can't even the name.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
I don't need another excuse to see that movie in IMAX. So, like, I'll go and see it, and I'll show up just for the previews at this point. Like, it's that good a movie. But yeah, I digress.
This is where it premiered, and I'll talk about it later because I got to see a leak. They premiered the first ever look for Avatar: The Way of the Water. It's a teaser trailer. It's like a minute and a half, and, you know, it blew the room away, and understandably so, and I'll get into that later, but that's it. That's all they got from Disney. Warner Brothers brought a lot to Vegas this year. They started off by doing the obvious. I mean, we all knew it was coming because it made fucking $750 million worldwide. They announced the Batman 2, and I was like, yeah, no shit.
Right, like, was that a surprise to anybody?
Like, the movie's critically acclaimed, audiences love it. It made fucking money. Like, so yeah, Matt Reeves is coming back to write and direct. Robert Pattinson's coming back. The whole creative team's coming back. I wonder if that includes our boy Greg Fraser. I hope he's coming back.
Yeah, he's got to.
Ooh, my man's is living in 2 prestigious franchises right now.
And good for him, man. He earned it. Like, he deserves it. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah, man. So that's how they started that off, which we're all like, yeah, sure. They debuted a first look at Barbie, which you guys, if you follow us on Instagram, you probably saw in the Instagram stories. I think Barbie is going to be fucking hilarious. It is a Greta Gerwig comedy, and the cast is stacked.
Right. Like, you wouldn't think that a movie like Barbie would be any good, but, like, it's been proven. You know, like, I was thinking about this as soon as I saw Barbie was on the docket. I was like, remember the Brady Bunch movie?
How good that was?
Right? Or people clowning that shit. How are you gonna make a Brady Bunch movie? I was like, yo,
nigga, that shit is hilarious.
Right? So you imagine you got Greta Gerwig, who is the queen of dramedy, right? You got our girl Margot Robbie killing it. You got Will Ferrell. You got fucking
Ryan Gosling is Ken.
Ryan Gosling, like, and that's just like the people off the top of my head. The
cast
list of
is
people,
stacked.
Right. I'm gonna put this out there right now. I want a set visit.
Yeah.
For Barbie, so someone hook it up for us, because it also, you know, plays into my fucking childhood, like, because, you know, I had, you know, cousins and sisters who had Barbies and shit like that, and I don't, like, it was G.I. Joe and Barbie. That was my fucking childhood.
Well, this drop, just 2 bit of anecdotes. One, let's start with some trivia. One, this movie's been kicking around for 20 years, and at one point, Barbie was going to be played by Amy Schumer. I get what they're doing with that. Like, I get what they're doing with that, but I'm glad we're getting the version that we're getting.
Right, because Margot Robbie has proven that she is not just
Funny.
she's funny.
Yeah.
You know, like I always go back to The Wolf of Wall Street and that scene with her and DiCaprio in the bedroom, and that the hilarious sexiness of it. So yeah, I know she can pull it off. Like she pulled off, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for like they've been kicking this movie around for 20 years. They were just waiting. It was like the universe was waiting for Margot Robbie to get on get on the radar. And it's like now you can make it.
I mean, she looks like a living Barbie doll, and
Right. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be superficial or shit like that, but I mean, it
But
works.
like she's a beautiful woman. Like,
Right. Yeah.
you're not she's a beautiful woman and she can carry the role. So like boom.
Well, our second bit of thing for Barbie before we move on, this is dropping the same day as Oppenheimer. So this is going to be a great double feature. You go and go to IMAX, you watch Oppenheimer, and then you
You need a
detox.
palate cleanser.
Yeah, go detox with Barbie. And my thing is, this is how you know if you're popping in Hollywood or not. Because if you're not, and these movies have both of these movies, even in like a scene, like there's they announced Josh Peck's gonna be in a scene of Oppenheimer. So if you're working in Hollywood and you're not in Oppenheimer or Barbie, you're not popping, baby. You're not popping at all.
Do you even exist, bro?
Yeah.
Do you even exist if you're not in any of these two movies?
Yeah. Also, that's bad news for the Marvels because the Marvels comes out the following weekend. I'm like, well, who gives a fuck? You got a Nolan epic and then you got this fucking Barbie movie. Like, who gives a
Right.
shit? Like, Marvel needs to push that shit back. Don't give a fuck about no fuck out of here. All right. Moving on, they showed like a 2-minute sizzle reel of Wonka, which is the Timothy Chalamet musical, and it's written and directed by Paul King. And for those of you who don't know, Paul King is the writer and director of Paddington 1 and Paddington 2. So that's
Which
why
I
I'm
still have
like,
to watch.
like, and this is another one where the cast is stacked. So I'm just like, oh well, you have the benefit of the doubt. And people
Right.
said this actually looks good. So I was just like, all right, well, you get the benefit of the doubt. Until
And
I'm
I like
sitting in the theater, prove me wrong.
And I like Timothy Chalamet, so
So
I'm
they
not looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to it.
so they played some stuff from The Flash. They said The Flash blew them away. The footage blew them away, and what really played well was Michael Keaton coming back and delivering that famous line.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
I forget what her name is, but they said the girl playing Supergirl looks amazing. She looks like she's going to literally carry that role on her shoulders, and they're saying the Flash is one to look out for.
Well, I mean, besides problematic Ezra.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, baby, that's why the multiverse exists. Nigga, you gone.
There we go.
That's why all these actors, listen, you could be an A-list actor one day and then the next day be nothing.
Yes, but also he's doing this to himself.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You could be on top one day and be zero the next day. That's how it works, baby.
Yeah, it's fucking just beating bitches.
The next thing they showed was the trailer for Olivia Wilde's new movie, which we'll talk about in trailer talk. And I'm like, I saw that trailer. I was like, all right, listen, you got me in the bag, man. It's cool seeing. It's cool seeing like a genre picture for adults.
We'll talk about this through trailer talk, but I realized watching all of these trailers how done I am with superhero movies.
Yeah, right. Yo, right.
I was watching this shit like I don't want to watch a superhero movie again. Like I want real fucking movies from real creatives. Like just give me some stories.
Let me walk this back. I want superhero movies from DC because it looks like now DC's just like, oh, let's find a talented filmmaker, give them some fucking money, and let them lose their fucking mind.
wait. This is DC right here. You summed it up. Like, you want to get nuts? I'll get nuts.
Yeah.
That's DC. Like,
Yeah.
nope, fuck it.
Yeah, man. Like I've never thought in a million years I'd be like, yo, I want to see a DC movie more than I want to see a fucking Marvel movie.
All right. Yo, 100%.
So
Yeah.
and then we'll close out Warner Brothers presentation with the thing that blew everybody away. And besides Top Gun, is apparently the thing that just had everybody's minds come out the back of their fucking skulls. Elvis. They showed an extended look at Elvis, and everybody's like, holy shit.
Man, I am so excited for fucking Elvis because no matter what, like I'm a fucking Elvis dog. I'm an Elvis fan, man. Like I love his music. I love the fact that he tried to be an actor. And all of his movies are the fucking same. I love the fact I love his persona, you know? And is Baz Luhrmann.
Well, Baz Luhrmann, even if his movies aren't good, there's two things I always give him props for. Visually, because I love his style. Visually, it's going to be amazing. And then two, the soundtrack's going to be hard. Because he's doing for this what he enlisted Jay-Z to do for The Great Gatsby, which is he's going to start, it's going to be heavy on Elvis's music, but they're also going to incorporate contemporary artists into the soundtrack.
Right.
So like they have a rock, I forget, there's a rock band who did a song. Doja Cat, believe it or not, did a song.
Okay.
So like my man's really, I guess after working with Jay-Z, my man's really loves hip hop because, you know, his earlier movies, it's all like alt rock, which I'm fine with because I fuck with Radiohead. Like I fuck with the Cardigans. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, yeah, man, I'm excited for Elvis. Elvis looks amazing. And if Elvis sucks, I'll be like, well, at least the soundtrack's popping.
And at least the soundtrack's popping and it looks good.
Yeah. Like they say Austin Butler's probably going to be nominated for Best Actor.
So I mean, he looked like I could you sometimes you can just tell from a trailer. I was like, this is going to make some money, but also it's going to get so many awards nominations thrown at it.
Warner Brothers, if you're listening, please give us a screening in Dolby Atmos. Like we want that Atmos sound.
Yeah, let's stop fucking around. I'm sick of getting these screenings for these huge movies that you need like this a special setup for watching it in podunk theaters. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Let's move on to Universal. Universal, which is what I love about Universal's presentation and reading about it is they didn't focus on just blockbusters or franchises. They focused on their whole arsenal. So even romantic comedies got the time to shine. And this is CinemaCon. CinemaCon is for mostly distributors and exhibitionists.
Right.
They brought out people in the exhibition business to come and introduce these. So like Jordan Peele came out with a dude who owns a black-owned theater in Baltimore, like entirely black-owned. Steve Carell came out for Rise of Gru and brought out the general manager of a multiplex in California. Like that's how they did there, which I think was pretty cool to show like everybody like, yo, these people is what's keeping theaters alive. So
yeah,
they showed off Nope, the new trailer for Nope. People are like, Nope will make a lot of money. It looks amazing. Jordan Peele came out and said they shot on a combination of 65 millimeter film and IMAX film. And he specifically wanted Hoteme von Hoteme as his DP because he had long conversations before shooting the movie with Hoteme, and they did it. They found new ways to use the IMAX camera, new innovative ways. I was like, yeah, of course. I was like,
okay.
So I was like, yo, if you want to shoot a movie on IMAX, Hoteme or Greg Fraser's the two dudes you get. So
I mean, like
they said the new trailer makes it clear what's going on, but it also doesn't give much away. And that's because Jordan Peele's like, I believe I'm more like Christopher Nolan, where I want you to go see the movie and then walk out with your mind blown, because I don't like giving away the entire movie before you go
And
see it.
and you know, and I fucking appreciate that because you know most of these trailers now are just sizzle reels, and like it's just like they seem like not sizzle reels. It seems like cliff notes for the actual movie.
Yeah.
You know, you like I know what's I all right. Well, I saw it in the trailer. I know exactly what's going to happen.
I will say this: no play again. When I went to go see a movie in IMAX over the weekend, they played the Nope trailer, and the Nope trailer took up that entire IMAX screen. And honestly, that trailer is one of the best trailers I've seen recently, because more than anything, it sets the mood and the atmosphere of what you're about to see. Like, that dread builds, and the use of the Stevie Wonder song in that fucking trailer. I'm just like, I don't need to see the second one. Like, I'm already in the bag.
Right. Yeah, sometimes it just gets sold. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you're already sold. Yeah.
Yeah. So they Universal, they showed the rise of Minions, the Rise of Gru, a new trailer for that. Steve Carell introduced it. Jamie Lee Curtis came out and introduced the teaser for Halloween Ends. She's like, please believe me, this movie will blow your mind. The teaser was basically like a clips of the previous three. So the original Halloween, the new Halloween, and Halloween Kills. And then it ends with the last 30 seconds is a confrontation between Laurie and Michael. And they say it is a brutal 30 seconds just because them two are.
They're all in.
Yeah.
They're
They said like Michael, of course, throws her across the room, but then she does it back. Like, she throws Michael across the room. I'm like, oh shit, she's been taking them roids.
CrossFit, you know.
Of course, they brought out the entire cast for Jurassic World Dominion and premiered the new trailer that day. And the trailer dropped online, but we're not going to review the trailer because, like,
Right. Why? Like, the ticket is already sold.
Right.
You know, like, there's nothing they're going to show you that's going to like turn someone who isn't already like into this movie.
Right.
You know.
Right. They brought out Billy Eichner, and Billy Eichner was like, this is the first. His movie's called Bros. It's a rom-com, and they say it's raunchy. And Billy Eichner came out, and he's like, this is the first gay romantic comedy put out by a mainstream studio. And no, I'm not talking about Buzz Lightyear. And they say it looks hilarious. So everybody in the movie, whether they're gay or straight, is being played by a gay person, which I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to Bros. Shout out to Billy Eichner. He's a funny motherfucker.
He is, and like my first introduction to Billy Eichner was Parks and Rec, and I hated him in Parks and Rec.
Yo, you never seen Billy on the Street?
Yeah, like, but then like I started watching Billy on the Street, and then I started watching Horrible People, and like that show deserved a better closeout. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hulu, man.
Hey, at least it's better than Netflix, man.
They showed off a Joy Kim's semi-autobiographical comedy called Easter Sunday. They showed a trailer for Idris Elba's new movie. It's a thriller called Beast. And then this is cool. Julia Roberts and George Clooney are doing another rom-com together, which I was like, oh, okay. It's called Ticket to Paradise. And I was like, all right, them two in a romantic comedy, sold.
All right.
So yeah, Universal literally came to play. They were just like, no, we're more than franchise shit.
Right. And that's so fucking refreshing.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be saying that this is refreshing. You know what I'm saying? It just should be the way it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Paramount was later in the day. On that same day, it was Thursday. They showed a quick trailer because they're still editing the movie, and they just started shooting the next one. Mission Impossible 7, which they showed the trailer, and they revealed the titles for both 7 and 8. And they said 8 will be the last one with Ethan Hawke. These 2 movies will close out the Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt,
Right.
his story is done with 8. These 2 movies will be called Mission: Impossible dash Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Okay.
Tom did a whole fucking intro video. He's like, sorry I can't be there, but we're busy shooting and we're busy editing the 7th one and currently shooting the 8th one. We hope you enjoy. And apparently the camera pulled back and he was standing on top of a plane and the plane did a barrel roll.
Fucking Tom Cruise is an American goddamn treasure.
Oh, thank you very much, Jeff. I try to do everything myself. I like planes. You know, see, Maverick is coming out soon, and I was flying the plane danger zone.
So,
And
so the only other thing Paramount showed was Damien Chazelle's new movie, which they said looks like exactly like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, except in the 1920s. And they said it's probably going to win awards. And I'm like, all right, cool. I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's called Babylon, starring Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt. I'm all in.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you get 2 people who look like they are throwback movie stars from the 20s, 30s, or 40s, you know, to like do a movie on old Hollywood. Fuck yes.
And you know, Damien Chazelle he's one of the best directors working. So, listen, Paramount, 35 millimeter print of that motherfucker. And let's get into the final thing Paramount showed, which we'll be talking about next episode because we'll be seeing it very soon. The world premiere, very first screening of Top Gun Maverick, had grown men weeping like children.
Hopefully, yes. I'm excited about this movie. I'm more excited after hearing these the first reactions than I was when I saw the first trailer. When I saw the first trailer, when did it come out? The first trailer was like 2 years ago.
2018, because this movie was supposed to come out in 2019.
Right. Like when I first saw the trailer, I was like, all right, cool. I like a good dogfight. I like aerial combat. But I didn't think of anything of it. You know, I was like, all right, it was an IP that I wasn't invested in. You know, it's part of pulp culture and everything like that. But I didn't connect to it. But now having all these reactions talking about how amazing this is, it's gone to the top of my list.
I'm glad because this movie, they held on to it for theaters specifically because Amazon and Apple have been in a bidding war for it, and Paramount was going to take it was a lot of money. It was like up to $300 million, and Tom Cruise is like, nah, fuck that. We worked too hard on this movie.
I climbed up on the table and I unzipped my pants and I said, "This is my dick. This is Tom Cruise's dick. You will do what I say." And then I zipped it back up. I had to roll it back up and put it in.
I get it because I heard that I watched a little featurette. It didn't show too much of the movie, and that's why I watched it. The actors, all the new actors, like all the people my age, they were just like, yeah, when we signed up for this movie, the next day we had to go to flight school and learn how to fly these jets ourselves and learn how to do all these aerial tricks that trained pilots can't even do. And I was just like, fuck me.
Yeah, so like let's do it. Let's get a fucking a throwback action fucking movie with practical fucking everything.
Shot in IMAX. Like this movie's entirely shot in IMAX. Tom said each pilot, each actor had to be their own director because you can only get it like once or twice.
Right.
Each plane had 6 IMAX cameras attached. So these actors have added weight on top of doing all these aerial stunts.
I'm here for it, baby. I'm here. Fucking Maverick, man.
We are seeing it in IMAX, so that'll be our next episode.
Yeah, and I fucking love Tom Cruise. Like I clown him a lot on here, but that motherfucker is a movie star.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And you know what? I can't believe I'm excited for a Top Gun sequel because the first one is part of the holy trinity of cinematic caucasity.
yeah, you know what? As much as I love Tony Scott, uh, and I've seen all of his shit, Top Gun is the one where I'm like, meh. You know, like I've seen it more in pieces than I have through a full sitting.
All conservatives I've met love Top Gun, and they all sing the Kenny Loggins "Highway to the Danger Zone." And that's why I'm just like, it's part of the holy trinity of cinematic caucasity because I'm just like, oh, they're fucking shoving whoppers in their mouths and not the burgers, the fucking candy, shoving whoppers in their mouth. Highway to the danger zone. So prove me wrong. All right, so the final panel of CinemaCon, so we can close this out, seems like nobody stuck around for. It was Lionsgate.
Wah, wah.
This was emceed by comedian Sebastian Maniscalco. He is the star of one of their movies called About My Father, which co-stars Robert De Niro and Kim Cattrall. Apparently, they showed up to present the trailer.
It just seems like Lionsgate, just like they just showed up. We
They after that, because he was the MC for the whole thing. So after that, it was Rachel McAdams in the adaptation "Are You There, God?" It's Me, Margaret. This is one I can't believe got made because they've been trying to adapt this movie into a book for like the past 30 years. So
right.
a lot of women said loved it. So I'm like, all right, well, I trust women because it's their story.
Like this is built for them.
Yeah,
This is like
yeah.
this is their they are the core audience for it, and hopefully, you know, it's it hopefully it's as good as it deserves to be. You
Yeah.
know.
They showed the trailer for a movie called The Devil's Light. It's a low budget horror movie, and apparently that went over like a wet fart. They showed Eli Roth's Borderlands, which stars Kate Blanchett and Jack Black, and they said it looks exactly like the game. Hopefully, they'll be surprised by it.
I mean, I liked the Borderland game series, and it does kind of lend itself to an adaptation, but I would think more of a TV show than an actual movie. So, yeah, we'll see.
They brought out 50 Cent did an intro video for Expendable 4s because the 4 is part of the title.
Yeah.
Expendable 4s. Sylvester Stallone is stepping away from the franchise, so like he's in it, but he's handing over the reins to Jason Statham's Lee Christmas, and apparently 50 Cent is also going to be the co-lead. So they're going to be taking this franchise, Jason Statham and 50 Cent.
I forgot that this was a franchise. I do not care.
I love the second one, and that's it. Like, I don't like the first one. I don't like the third one.
The first one wasn't good enough to deserve a second one.
And I like the second one a lot.
The second one was good, but I forgot there was even a third one.
Like the opening of the third one was great, and then the rest of the movie never matched that shit.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
And then Keanu and Chad Stahelski came out and is like, yeah, we're gonna show you our new trailer for John Wick 4, and we'll talk about it more when it's closer to release. It's basically John Wick, except this time this nigga's using nunchucks and breaking people's faces in with nunchucks.
Yeah, I mean it's John Wick. The fucking ticket is sold.
This gotta be the last one though. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Like, this is it. This is it, bro.
I mean, honestly, I didn't need the third one. Right. I didn't need the third one. It was John Wick, so I can't even say it was bad. It was world building and everything like that. but we could have just ended it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This shit
could've
was
just ended it.
originally supposed to be a trilogy, but franchise, because John Wick didn't even need a sequel. Like, that tells a
It
complete
really
story.
It
And then
didn't.
John Wick 2 got that fucking cliffhanger. John Wick 3, honestly, John Wick 3 probably would have been my favorite if we didn't have another fucking cliffhanger. Like, yo, stop
Right.
with these fucking cliffhangers. Keanu could only do so many of these. So after John Wick,
Give us another Lake House.
Ana de Armas came out and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna present a first look, piggybacking off of them. I'm in a spinoff of the John Wick franchise called Ballerina." And I was like, "All right, cool." The ballerinas were in the third one for like maybe 2 minutes, so sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
And Lionsgate ended their fucking panel with an announcement. It was no teaser, just the logo. The Hunger Games prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, will open in theaters Thanksgiving 2023. Francis Lawrence is directing, and that was it.
Okay.
It's a good book. Real good book. And it shows you how a motherfucker becomes a tyrant and dictator. So that's why I think it's a good book, because you just see this nigga's slow descent into evil.
I'm here for it.
So I'm wondering how they're gonna tackle it, because it's the longest book. It's 500 pages.
It's probably a trilogy. It's probably a prequel trilogy.
All right, well, that's CinemaCon, and Jeff, what have you watched lately?
What you watching? What you watching? I said what you watching? What you watching?
What are you watching?
Based on your recommendation, I watched Reacher on Amazon.
How'd you like it?
I loved it. You know, it wasn't groundbreaking, but I liked the characters enough. I liked the mystery enough. It was violent as fuck. You know, it wasn't trying to be more than it was.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like it knew itself. It knew, like, we're just making an adult crime show, detective show, an adult detective show with an interesting lead character, and there's no overarching 5-season fucking mystery,
Yep.
and I like that. I like that it was self-contained.
Well, it looks like each season's going to be a adaptation of each book, because I read Killing Floor, and they changed a few things, but I get it, because the book is a tad bit dated and a lot more misogynistic.
Right. I get how that character could go that way, but the acting was on point, the action's on point. Yeah, so like I want more Reachers. Yeah, I want more seasons of Reacher. So yeah, you were right about that. So if you got Amazon Prime, do yourself a favor and watch Reacher, but don't go if you need a nice palate cleanser. Like I don't need to pay attention. I don't need to. I don't want to say pay attention. You should pay attention to everything, but like it can just be on.
Yes.
You can just watch it and kind of disconnect from the world.
But it's enough good character work where you will get invested.
Yeah. Like, so I can't. Reacher. It was surprising, and so after that, I went back and I decided to compare it to Jack Reacher, the Tom Cruise movie, because I had already seen it a couple of weeks back. I think we talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
But then then I was like, let me watch Jack Reacher after I've seen Reacher, and the Reacher show made me like Jack Reacher less, or dislike it more. Because that was horrible casting.
Oh yeah.
Like after
Alan
seeing, I don't know.
Alan Ritchson, that's how he's described in the comic books. He's like the Hulk.
Yeah. So like seeing Tom Cruise, like, I know you're really 5'7" in real life. trying to play this fucking towering, massive, ex-military dude. It didn't work for me. I like the movie in of itself. I just if the character was called uh John Backbend, if they like if it wasn't a Jack Reacher movie, if it was John Backbend, I was like, yeah, give me another John Backbend movie. But
See, and the thing with Reacher is that it's me and Trey watched it recently. It's dated just because there's some shit where he says to women in this where I'm just like, ooh boy, this would not fly today.
right.
And like the story itself, you're just like, the action's good, but like it
Yeah.
feels like there's shit missing in the story where I'm just like, wait, how we go from here to here?
Yeah, it probably I don't want to invest any more time in this, but I would like to see a director's cut of this and see what was left out.
Right.
Right. And that I didn't even realize they had a second Reacher film.
Oh, done by
No.
Edward Zick, and it's bad.
Yeah, so I'm trying to hunt that down to watch that just so I can finish this out. No?
Nah,
All right. Okay. All right. Is that bad?
I'm trying to save you time, dog.
Okay. All right. uh and so after that I was on a Tom Cruise kick, so I decided to rewatch Valkyrie.
Oh, how's that hold up?
It's not bad. It still holds up. I like how they don't even try to have German accents. But it's the same thing they did with Chernobyl, the TV show where they were like, whenever you try to do a whole entire ensemble cast of people trying to do a foreign accent, it always sounds fake. So I loved how they just kept it, just like, yeah, we'll just use our regular accents and fucking you all know we're Nazis. um yeah, it holds up. I've said this before. I am not a big fan of what the fuck is his face? Usual Suspects. What am I talking about? I can't even think
Bryan
of it.
Singer.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Bryan Singer. He is a workman director. It's a competent film. It's not overly creative or visually inventive. It's just there. And I feel the same way about all of Bryan Singer's films. Like, I don't know why he gets so much hype and shit like that, because even The Usual Suspects, right? The thing that put him on the map, that wasn't his directing. That was Christopher McQuarrie's script that made that movie special.
Yeah.
So Valkyrie, it's good enough. It could have been better if someone with a more innovative and just sort of creative hand had gotten their hold on it. But it's Tom fucking Cruise. It's like even the worst Tom Cruise movie, I'll sit down and watch. Is entertaining enough,
So you've seen
Except
Cocktail?
I've seen Cocktail, man.
Is it
Everyone's
good?
seen. I mean, it was the 80s, dog. Like, what do you want? What do you want me to say?
Yo,
Like,
Risky Business is I watch that shit every chance I get.
Look, Cocktail is like that's it. It's peak 80s whiteness, So your mileage may vary, but it's good enough.
All right.
It's good enough. After that, I watched an independent film called Vampirus. That is a indie vampire movie, low budget, set in Brooklyn during the pandemic. I fucking hate this movie so much. It's a talkie more than anything. The story is a vampire who's not really she's a vampire, but it's not any of the standard vampire lore that we usually have. She's going around Brooklyn killing people who are out on the street. Only bad guys though, so we can feel some sort of connection for her. It goes around and just kills whoever's left out on the street, but she makes sure that they're bad. But she doesn't suck their blood. She actually just devours their flesh. So it's more like a zombie than anything. And she gets hooked up with this dude who follows her around and sort of wants to be her apprentice because he also wants to fuck her.
Okay.
That's the movie. They wear the masks through most of the movie, so you can barely hear anything. The dialogue's mumbled. There's long stretches of them fucking just having relationship talks.
Because why the fuck not?
Right. It's some Brooklyn hipster bullshit. The best thing about this movie is the fucking poster.
All right, I'm gonna Google it after the show.
She hunts during the day.
Are they daywalkers?
They don't. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, why not? Daywalkers. They couldn't afford to shoot at night.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, sure. And I'm gonna talk about this. This is the thing that is wrong with a lot of these low budget indies. And I don't have a problem with talkies. I have a problem with you just fucking talking just to talk. Right? They're trying to fill the runtime with your musings on life and society that have nothing to do with the narrative. You're not fucking Kevin Smith. Everyone wants to try to be fucking Kevin Smith, but you're not. I don't want to if it's he got away with talking about random shit
because the shit was funny. It had
a
point, funny, but it was funny,
right? And that's the movie he was making, right? You don't put a Kevin Smith movie, the Kevin Smith sort of thought process in a fucking vampire movie,
right?
So fucking vampires, indie films do better. And then I'm going to give a special shout out to my boy Gabe Cast, who sent me a work print of his short film. It's called Are You Awake? And to watch this in comparison to Vampirus shows you that there is hope for indie cinema. Like I said, it's a work print for his short film. It has shades of Dreamscape. It's got shades of It Follows in it. It's shot fantastically. And it's super weird. It's super nuanced and super personal. And it does what a short film is supposed to do. It tells a self-contained story, but also it makes you want to watch a bigger movie. Right? So, like I said, it's a work print, but it's going to be hitting the festival circuit in a couple of months. If you get a chance, if you're at a festival, go watch Are You Awake? All right, because it's fucking amazing, and a nice palate cleanser from Vampirus. And I actually want to put this out there. If we have any indie filmmakers listening, you can send us your work prints. Or at least send me. Yeah, we'll watch them. We'll give you, valid feedback on it. It's not just, studio films. We love all films.
I mean, we do talk about indie shit a lot.
Right. So, it hit us up. Send us a screener. We'll watch that shit. We'll talk about it. All right. Moving on from that. I watched the final season, part 2 of the season 4 of Ozark. I'm not going to get into any spoilers. I don't know how this show went from one of my favorite things to, by that last episode, being I don't want to say I hate it. I'm just disappointed in that last episode. And I know this was supposed to be the last season. I thought it was going to be the last season because they were closing it out. It seems more like it got canceled because, like I said, I'm not trying to give anything. I'm not trying to give anything away, but this deserved a better ending. And I'm going to leave it at that. Everything was firing on all cylinders up until that last honestly, the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes showed me that either it was canceled or they just didn't know how to stick the landing, so they didn't even try.
Well, that reminds me because I did read an article about this. It did want me to watch the show, but I'm not going to watch the show just to get to one fucking episode where the entire episode is soundtrack by Illmatic, because that's one of the best albums of all time.
Yeah, like, and that's it. You watch the episode because it's self-contained, because it's not the last episode. I think it's the first episode of part 2,
Okay.
where we're just listening to like hip hop. Killer Mike makes an appearance in it. That was cool. Like, all right, this is where we're going.
All right.
And then no. So yeah, Ozarks. I'm sorry if you're an Ozark fan. It deserved better. And yeah, that's what I got for you. Special shout out to Future Man. I rewatched that shit again. I love that fucking show. It's on Hulu.
Oof.
Yeah, man. It's the right amount of weird and bad, and just Future Man is pretty much just every sci-fi movie you've ever seen put into 3 seasons. And it gets real weird and goes on weird tangents, and it's one of my guilty pleasures. Is Future Man. So like I was feeling some kind of ways like, let me rewatch Future Man. So if you're a fan of Last Starfighter, Terminator 2, Back to the Future, fucking all these time travel shows, all of these we're living in the future shows, yeah, Future Man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna save the Marvel shit for when we do our main review, because I rewatched WandaVision, Loki, and What If, and the first Doctor Strange. So I'll save all that for the main review. Real quickly, I want to say shout out to the second season of Rugrats that dropped a couple of weeks ago. It's still hitting, still good. They're starting to introduce the little Asian girl from after I stopped watching the show. And I remember seeing a couple of episodes of the older one and really liking that character and her mom. So it's cool that we're getting the best parts of the later seasons without Dill. Like, don't bring that motherfucker in there. Watch the first 2 episodes of Under the Banner of Heaven. The shit's a rough watch. This is like rough.
Yeah.
Also shows why religion's bullshit and how people will hide behind their religious beliefs to do all types of shit.
Okay. It's on my watch list.
I'll get into it maybe more next episode, but for right now, because I think they're dropping 2 episodes a week. Outer Range. I fuck with Outer Range. It's weird. It's like a quasi-Western, but like a drama and like
I wanted
element.
to start that. I wanted to start that. So like the fact that you're on board.
Yeah, like I need to watch. They dropped 2 episodes last week and I haven't gotten to them yet. So I'm trying to get to those. Shout out to Barry. Barry this season's been crazy.
Yeah, man.
Like the last this week's episode, I was just like, oh man, the way it ends with those close-ups, I was just like, fuck. And Sally's a piece of shit. Like she's always been a piece of shit.
Yes, Sally's always been a piece of shit, but now she's a real piece of shit.
And I'm glad Barry fucking
called her out.
Yeah, and just got up in her face. Like I was just like, good, because fuck her. He shouldn't even be dating her. She ain't that bad.
Right, and like and honestly, watching the show, Barry, like no one's actually a good person.
Oh no, because Barry's unhinged right now.
Right, Barry's unhinged. The only 2 people I really like, or really good people, are Cristobal and NoHo Hank, and they're fucking run crime syndicates.
Yeah.
But they're the nicest people.
Yeah. So shout out to Barry. Shout out to We Own This City. It's all like I wish this was like a straight sequel to The Wire, but it's not. It's its own thing.
Right, it's based on true story.
Oh, I mean. Dog, how many times you see this? I wake up every morning and see shit like this. Like,
yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
I'm digging it. I'm digging the first 2 episodes.
So We Own This City. Please watch it. Tokyo Vice closed out its first season, and
that is how you end a fucking season.
Everybody like not one person made the right choice in this final. I was like, come on. Like the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you
Yep.
doing? And
Yep.
shout out to the dude who plays the villain. Like this nigga is like the Joker because he just likes chaos. I'm like, these Yakuza motherfuckers are literally trying to keep the peace so that way they could keep doing their crime shit. And this nigga and his boss are like, nah, fuck that. Like, let's just create chaos.
No, man, there's a method to his madness. That's the new Yakuza, man. It's like fucking fuck bitches get money. That's what the Tozawa clan's about.
Nah, they've some fucking psychos. If this HBO, if you do not renew this, me and you gonna have some words, and you will not like the end of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean that is.
I'm gonna leave you on the floor in tears.
Yeah.
So shout out to Tokyo Vice. Moving on. I rewatched Devs because I've been living in the multiverse for fucking 2 weeks. So I rewatched Devs. I still fuck with Devs. It still has some problems, but you know, Alex Garland, you could never go wrong with this nigga. Shout out to Alex Garland. Like I fuck with Devs hard. All right, and I'm gonna move into the last bit of stuff. Before we went to the screening for Doctor Strange, I had a nice little day in the city because I was owed a few things. So I saw The Northman again for free, ate for free. Well, not for free, basically for free. But I fuck with The Northman more the second time around. Like it just plays better the second time around. Robert Eggers is definitely one of our best filmmakers working right now. Like this movie, I still can't believe this movie cost 70 million. Like the craft on display, the sets, the fights, this everything. I'm like, y'all did this for $70 million.
How's that second act on the second reviewing?
Oh, it moves a lot quicker just because watching it the second time around, I understand they're trying to really establish the relationship between Olga and Omelet, so that way when that scene at the end where they're on the boat together, that hits harder.
Okay.
So it moves faster. Like everything has a purpose in that fucking movie.
Okay, fair.
And then I'll get into the last thing, which is over the weekend I met up with some friends and we went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's my second time seeing it. Saw it in IMAX and I like it much better the second time around. This is another one where I'm like, yo, motherfucker, this costs 25 million. Like seeing these movies by these auteurs and they're doing genre shit like for indie studios, and it's just much more impressive with less resources than these motherfuckers who are spending 200, 300 million dollars on a movie. Like, yo, at a certain point, I'm just like, stop spending 300 million dollars on a fucking movie.
Right.
Because clearly y'all motherfuckers don't know what to do.
They don't know how to spend their money.
Yeah, because
they haven't been hungry. They haven't been hungry before. You know, they're you know, you got $25 million. You're gonna make that. You're gonna stretch that. You're gonna make that work.
Yeah, and the fights are like so well choreographed. These guys, it's a few dudes on Twitter. They blew up on Twitter and YouTube because they post their videos on YouTube and Twitter. And the Daniels reached out to them to choreograph their fights, and it shows, man. Like these fights are so hard. It's not like Michelle Yeoh's a slouch. Like she's a kung fu legend. Like she's done kung fu and dramas, and like this movie plays to her strengths because it is an action and a drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is one of my favorite movies of the year already.
The way they use IMAX in this is amazing because I never thought to do this. Everything that's set in the real world and is just mundane, them going through everyday life is in IMAX. And then when it gets fantastical, that's when the aspect ratio shrinks down to regular scope, to regular 2.339. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed it more the second time around. See it in IMAX before Doctor Strange fucking swallows it whole. It's worth seeing in IMAX. I went, and if you live in Jersey, check out the New Brunswick IMAX. The IMAX in New Brunswick. That screen is huge for a digital IMAX. They got laser projection, and that sound is fucking insane.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything to that? Because I know you saw that.
Yeah, I mean it plays bigger, it plays better bigger.
Yeah.
Um and the fact that the Daniels, because I've been loving the Daniels stuff from like back when they started doing music videos back in the day, back in the day like 10 years ago. And like you can see their visual style has matured over time, and everything about this movie just hits the emotion, the emotions, the action, the comedy. It's funny as fuck.
It has one of my
Uh,
favorite lines in a movie ever where she says, in any universe, I'd just be happy doing taxes with you, doing laundries and taxes with you.
right. And it's you can see the visual references from other movies in it, like that whole entire Hong Kong shit. That's In the Mood for Love.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 100%.
Oh
Like that
yeah,
whole
because
entire
we
scene.
just
Yeah,
watched that shit. Like I knew
yeah,
what they were doing right then and there. That's why I was
yeah,
just like, yeah. Like the slow mo, the way they use the same type of slow mo that Wong does. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So I mean, it's I can't say enough about this movie. And just a little tidbit, uh, it didn't have a drop off from last week
It had an
to this week,
increase
right?
because it
So
went back
that's
into IMAX.
yeah. So like
That's
that
how good
shows
the
you,
word of mouth is on this motherfucker.
yeah. So if you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to go out and see it. Like,
824 said they're gonna keep it playing till June. So
all right, go. You got a little time, and bring some tissues because you will cry.
before we move on, I also want to give a shout out to Better Call Saul because I forgot to give out a shout out to that. That oh my god.
I haven't seen episode 4 yet. I haven't episode.
Oh, yo, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm still recovering from episode 3, son.
I know. Yo, but you know what? I read an interview with Michael Mando, and he's like, what happened to me in my episode? It's dead men walking because if you realize everybody who's in that scene has died
Oh,
in
yeah.
Breaking Bad. And I was like, oh yeah, Walt, justice for Nacho. And you know what's sad is, and sorry for the spoilers, but what's sad is Jimmy's first episode in Breaking Bad is called Better Call Saul. And when Walt and Jesse snatch him up, he's like, who sent you? Who sent you? Did Nacho send you? And I'm like, damn, this nigga this whole time still thinks he's alive.
Right. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets fucking deep.
Yeah. So
It's fucking deep.
all right, let's move into trailer talk.
Roll camera and action.
It's time for some trailer talk.
Let's start on the count of 3. This shit looks devastating, but funny at the same time.
It's like I said at the beginning of the show, watching these trailers makes me miss real movies. And Nathaniel Carmichael is starring in this. If you don't know the reference,
And directing it.
And directing it. And did he write it too? Yeah. It looks like I hate to say, like, it looks like a hilarious movie about a suicide pact.
Yeah,
But that's exactly what it is.
It is walking that fine line of comedy and drama where it's going to be both heartbreaking and hilarious, and probably both at the same time.
Yeah,
and
you could tell it's not going to end well.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to end well.
Yeah, so that's coming out next week. Hopefully, we could find a way to see it.
Yeah,
hopefully,
because it wasn't on my radar, and then I saw it. It's like, I need to see this movie.
Yeah, so that is on the count of 3. We'll talk about the teaser. I've seen this teaser a few times now because they're playing it in theaters. Crimes of the Future. David Cronenberg's back doing body horror, and it looks.
That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. David Cronenberg, Viggo Mortensen, Leah Sudol.
It is Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart.
It's premiering at the Cannes Film Festival. So we'll see how it plays out there. I might need to bring a barf bag. I'm excited to see it, but I'm also going to be, bleh! Oh, this is awesome.
Fucking old school Cronenberg. Let's do it.
All right. Bodies.
It looks like what I wanted the last Scream movie to be.
This is a horror satire. This is how you do a horror satire.
Yeah.
So it is straight up commenting and making fun of like millennials and well, not millennials because I'm a millennial, like Gen Z.
Right,
This is
Yeah,
Gen
Gen
Z
Z.
shit.
Because technically, I'm what they call an elder millennial.
Right,
I'm
right.
an elder statesman of the millennials.
All right.
But yeah, it looks hilarious. Fucking Pete Davidson looks like they actually figured out how to put Pete Davidson in a movie,
He looks sober.
right?
I was like, what the fuck? Why is this nigga sober?
I mean, he probably wasn't, but yeah, he
But
looks sober.
he just looks healthy.
Right.
Yeah, shout out. So I'm excited to see this. There's another A24 movie. They premiered
Well,
this.
I thought it was that Neon or A24?
It's A24.
Okay.
They premiered it at I think it was South by Southwest, and people went wild for it at South by Southwest. And because of the reception, they held off putting it out. So it's coming out in August. So I'm like, okay, well, you know.
Good summer horror movie. Let's do it.
And we'll get into our second to last trailer, Don't Worry, Darling, which we talked about during the CinemaCon presentation. This looks like a cross between the Stepford Wives and Inception. Like, clearly something's wrong.
Right. Yeah. It looks visually stunning. Well acted.
It's Harry. The two leads are Harry Styles and Florence Pugh. Shout out to Florence Pugh just putting in work.
Yep. And even Harry Styles seems like not Harry Styles. So yeah.
I mean, he was good in Dunkirk.
But yeah, this looks like an adult movie.
Yeah.
It's
a hard R.
Yeah, it's a hard R, and like yes, no one has a fucking cape.
I saw Harry Styles start going down on Florence Pugh, and I was like, me and Harry, we got the same interest, because that's one of my favorite activities. If I ain't watching movies, I love doing cunnilingus.
Snack time.
Yeah, hell yeah. I am hungry.
So don't worry, darling.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this motherfucker. What do you think's going on there?
It's got to be some sort of like
sim, like it's a sim, right?
Or like a Wormwood situation where they're dosing everybody.
Okay, all right. So we'll move into the last thing. This leaked online. I got to see it before it got taken down. The Avatar Way of Water trailer. Me and you've talked about this movie before. I don't fuck with the first Avatar. I recently rewatched it because we've been talking about it a lot, and I still don't fuck with it. As a matter of fact, at CinemaCon, they said they're going to re-release the first one in September to get you hyped for the new one with like new effects, updated effects, and newly remastered 3D. And I'm like, cool.
So, right. Okay, cool.
This one, I'm just like, what the fuck happened between the first one and this one? Because this one looks
13 years. That's what happened.
I was like, God damn, this nigga went in. Like, it looks like a movie. Like, the way they used a lighting technique called fast fall off. The way fast fall off's going on the Na'vi. Even the Na'vi look more realistic this time out. The deep focus, there's a shot of them sitting on these like whale type creatures in the ocean, and it uses deep focus so you can see all of the Na'vi sitting on these creatures. And I'm just like, this looks like a fucking movie. It's lit like a movie. There's shots in this trailer where it's just breathtaking. Like, the score is incredible because the score is super ethereal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The creatures, the underwater creatures, look insane. Like, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I'm excited to see a fucking Avatar movie.
I mean, like I said, I didn't see any of it because I got to the leak too late. But me knowing you and us both not fucking with the first one, to see that you're this excited, it makes me a little bit less apprehensive.
It makes me excited to go because I'm seeing Doctor Strange again, because I'm going with some people to see it in IMAX 3D.
Right.
This is the only thing I'm looking forward to, is seeing this trailer in fucking 3D, just because I know, like, yo, it's gonna be popping. Yeah. So, all right, let's move into our main review.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The Film Blurts feature film review.
So let's talk about Moon Knight first. I love this fucking show.
I don't think it stuck the landing very well. It was rushed. Like, this needed to be 7. This is what Marvel needs to be doing, which is more character-based shit that's just weird. That's why I like Loki so much, and this is why I like this so much. It's more character-based.
It's more character based. It is the Mark I fucking Spector and Stephen
Grant,
Grant.
yeah.
Yeah, their dynamic and the way that Oscar Isaac pulls that off, it's incredible. And by the 5th episode, when you learn about the backstory, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's a realistic depiction of DID because that's how DIDs usually form, from repeated trauma. So,
and like I'm loving that the actual Egyptian the Egyptian culture is on display, even to like the ending credits music with that Egyptian hip hop
yeah.
that's playing,
Yeah.
that banger. And let's also talk about my favorite moment out of that last episode, right? Is when Layla, spoiler alert, is when Layla is saving the van, like the people in
Oh,
the
and the
van,
little girl,
right?
she's like, "Are you an
It's like,
Egyptian
"You an
superhero?"
Egyptian
And she goes,
superhero?"
"Yes." And I
And I
love
was
that
like,
too. That was my favorite moment because, again, as I said before, everybody needs representation, and when you
right.
see that, like, it's powerful when people realize, like, "Oh, that's me."
Yeah. And it's great character work. Ethan Hawke was not wasted in this. He looked that now I see why he decided to do this,
Well,
because it looked like he was actually acting.
Arthur Harrow is a very complicated villain, and it's not like he has bullshit motivations. Like, the nigga was hurt.
Right.
Like, he was straight up hurt, and he was used,
Yeah. Like that first episode that I watched, it's super cinematic. It like I will give you this. Those Marvel TV shows, besides Hawkeye, look like they have some money behind them, and they
Yes.
use the money well.
Yes. It's a shame to me that Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and this one, Moon Knight, look like movies, and then some of these movies look like shows.
Right.
And are so inconsequential that they might as well been a fucking TV show.
Or a TV movie.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Like, and I'm waiting for the day that happens with this Marvel universe. Is like they just start putting out TV movies.
Oh,
that directed.
They're gonna have to, because some of these shows, I'm like, yo, like Hawkeye should have just been a TV movie.
Yeah.
WandaVision could have definitely been shorter, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. But yeah,
Right.
My problem with Moon Knight is there's 3 personalities, and we don't get to know Jake until the first mid-credit scene, because there's only one credit scene. It's a mid-credit scene. Jake Lockley is a big part of the comics, and I really thought, since this was a mini-series before it became an ongoing series, there is a scene from the comics where fucking all 3 of them, Mark, Steven, and Jake, have had it with Khonshu, and they're just like, yo, we are Moon Knight, and we don't need you. And they crush Khonshu's head and just use the powers without him. Like, they're untethered.
Oh, shit.
So they're fully Moon Knight without Khonshu. And that's what I thought that arc was going to be, because, Mark even says, Mark and Steven, they're like, yeah, you're fucking using us. So I guess I'm glad that this is not a mini series, because that wasn't really an ending for a mini series rather than an ongoing series. So I'm very excited to see where the second season will go, and how please bring Layla back, because May Calloway, I liked her on Rami. She was great on Rami, but she's especially great here.
And I love her. I love her goddess. I love that hippo goddess.
Yeah,
I want to tell you,
she's awesome. Also, May Calloway is beautiful. Like, damn.
Yeah, no, she is. And like, it's, to me, I know why Disney did what they did, saying there was going to be a limited series. They wanted to test the waters, because if people didn't like it, it was like, oh well, it's the last thing. But they knew as soon as they started getting those first critical reactions that they were going into the second season.
I also think it's because of Oscar Isaac, because I know Oscar Isaac's tired of franchise shit. And I get it, because he just did Star Wars. He's coming off of Dune. Like, my man
Right.
wants to just act in, like, dramas right now. But you know what?
Yeah.
Like, Dune, Moon
But this
Knight.
is this could be a drama though.
Yeah,
Like this, like
yeah.
it plays to all of those things. And the thing I want to say about Moon Knight is hated Steven the first couple of episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he grew on me to like I get it now.
Yes.
In that episode, and that's fucking storytelling.
Yes. Where you develop the characters.
You know, that is storytelling.
Like, Steven is almost a completely different person by the end of it, because the final battle, he's so sure of himself that usually he's like, all right, Mark, take over, start fighting. Now this
Right.
motherfucker's
Now,
like, you know, he
they're
has
tag teaming.
the staff, the bow staffs that he was fighting with. He's like, hey, Layla, look what we can do now. And I was like, yo, Steven is sure of himself. So like, it's cool now that they trust Mark and Steven trust each other enough where they can switch personalities need be, and they're not button heads.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the second season of Moon Knight, but like
let's get to know Jake a little better.
Right. But like just to say, Marvel is hitting it out of the park with these TV shows.
Yes, because Loki is still my favorite project of Phase 4.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely 100%. So like the cinematic universe has to catch up with the TV universe.
So let's move into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And I'll just start off by saying I was really looking forward to this. You know what I mean? I thought this was going to be like
the movie,
like Winter Soldier or Civil War or Ragnarok, where it was just like, oh, this shit is going to fuck up things going forward. And it's standalone. But my problem, I don't have a problem with standalone shit, but my problem is weightless. Like, it is nothing there. Stuff is happening to the characters without them very much interacting or changing.
It's like I said, it's and like I said it to you, and I said it on Twitter. I had fun with it, I enjoyed it, but it's not fantastic. It's not the movie I wanted it to be.
And it doesn't even live up to the title, the Multiverse of Madness. Like, Loki did more fucking crazy madness shit in the multiverse than this does. Shit, even What If did. And that's the thing I'll get into now. I rewatched Loki, What If, the first Doctor Strange, and WandaVision. And this is my problem with this fucking movie too. You need to watch What If, the first Doctor Strange, and WandaVision, because
in order to like
this movie is a sequel to the first Doctor Strange. It's a sequel to WandaVision. It's a follow-up to What If, and it's a sequel to Endgame, because they talk about Endgame. But then it's not even fulfilling as a continuation of those stories, especially WandaVision, where I'm just like, that was a complete waste of everybody's time just because. And I'm not going to, Wanda, her journey from WandaVision to this, I was talking to a lot of female critics on Twitter, and a lot of them kept saying the same thing where
it's unearned. It's unearned.
Yeah. Something, not only was something missing, but it was just it doesn't follow the arc that Wanda went through in WandaVision. Because I don't want to
it's hard to talk about this movie without spoilers.
And we're not going to spoil it.
Right.
But there's a reason why, and I've noticed this with Marvel movies. If they don't give away the plot of the movie or the villain of the movie in the trailer, you know something's up. Because they did this with Guardians, where they didn't really give away the plot. Guardians 2. They didn't give away the plot, and they never told you who the villain was. They're doing the same thing with Doctor Strange, and that's for a reason. Because you're just, when the villain shows up and the villain rears their head, you're just like, wait, what? What the fuck? Seriously? What the fuck? Like, Wanda's basically the co-star of this movie. Her and America Chavez, because America Chavez is a popular character from the comics. And Wanda's whole goal in this movie makes no sense considering what, like you said, Jeff, on the train ride home, what she did in WandaVision, we don't understand why she just didn't do that again in a
Right,
much
exactly.
safer space. Like she could have went to a remote island and just did that shit again.
Right, right. And that's the problem with this movie is the more and more you try to connect it to these other properties that it's supposed to connect to, the more holes in it you see.
And they bring up No Way Home, right? They say Wong and Doctor Strange mentioned Peter
Right.
and the whole adventure they had in that, which is honestly so inconsequential to this shit. Which blows my fucking mind. Like
Right, because that was a game changer in that movie. But here, like you said, it is weightless. It has it's a standalone, which I'm fine with because if you like that's been my biggest complaint about these things is that you're just watching these movies, these Marvel movies, to get to the next Marvel movie.
And that's what's great. Real quick, that's what's great about Moon Knight. Moon Knight stands on its own. There's like one reference to Black Panther in episode 5 where the hippo lady mentions the ancestral plane and how beautiful that is. And that's the only reference you get to any other Marvel shit. This shit, like when they talk about Spider-Man, I was at first so confused because I'm like, the spell Strange did at the end of No Way Home was to make literally everybody forget about Peter. So how the fuck does Strange remember and Wong remember? And then on top of that, the multiverse shit does in that movie has no bearing on the multiverse shit in this movie. Like the multiverse shit, and I thought really Loki was going to play into this because they really fucked up the multiverse at the end of the first season.
Right,
and
it has
no bearing on this.
Right, and like you don't hear about the TVA, like there's really no connection to it.
Right.
I will say that this is the weirdest Marvel movie, but it's not as weird as I wanted it to be. And but this is a Sam Raimi film. This is like watered down Evil Dead.
You could tell my man, like the thing holding this movie back is the script. Like this script is fucking dog shit. The problem is there's a plot, there's no story. There's the stuff is happening to Stephen Strange and he's not reacting to anything or growing with it because he already had his arc in the first movie. Like the first movie, Strange goes on an arc. Like I just watched that movie. He goes from being a shitty human being to realizing like, yo, the world is bigger than me and I got to step up and become this person. So he goes on an arc. And so when everybody's telling him in this movie, like, yo, you're a shitty human being. And I'm like, man, he already learned that lesson. Like when Rachel McAdams throws the like digs in him at her wedding, I'm like, wait. He just said, I'm happy for you. He showed up to your wedding and he's not even protesting like you getting married. So that was like completely unnecessary. And that didn't even fit Christine's character.
It doesn't fit Christine's character, but I get, like when she says like you always have to be holding the scalpel. That's the only kind of story arc we get because like no matter what, he's a control freak, and so by the end of the movie, he is able to give up control and let whatever happen. So I get that. It's thin though. It's thin. Yeah, but I get it, but it's thin.
My other problem is we had just spent because Peter and Steven meet in Infinity War. So they're together in Infinity War, Endgame, and then No Way Home. So when America shows up and he has to, the big thing in this movie is will he or won't he betray America? I'm just like, well, he won't because he just went through the same arc in Infinity War where he told Tony and Peter like, yo, if need be, I will fuck you guys over to save the universe. So when it came time and they fought Thanos at the end of that movie, he decided not to fuck them over. He's like, you know what? I'm going to help these two guys. Fuck it. Let me save. This is the only play we have.
Right. Like I said, it is like I said, it's a Sam Raimi film.
That's the only
and
thing
I
that
love
saves
Sam
it.
Raimi.
It's like
I love
samey.
Sam
Yeah,
Raimi.
it's Raimi. Like Raimi's directorial style completely saves the movie. His sensibilities completely saves the movie. Like I love Benedict as Doctor Strange. I love the character and I love Benedict as the character. And I don't know how to say her name, but I'll say Miss Gomez as America. Fantastic. Right. I hope she gets a TV show. But as a movie that has a beginning, middle, and end, it is fucking just nothing is there.
Right. Like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was. I wanted more because I was looking forward to this so much because they had put so much fucking weight on what the multiverse of madness was going to bring to the table,
and it's fucking nothing.
It's nothing. The cameos are cool.
They are fan service. That is fan service galore.
Yeah, but it's fan service.
It is fucking fan service where I'm just like, so 2 of the cameos, I could say 3 of the cameos you can offshoot into. That's gonna obviously offshoot into other shit. But there's 2 of them where I was just like, there's nothing you could do with these 2 people other than to pay lip service to comics and then the what if
other properties.
Yeah.
What if, and then other properties. Like it's inconsequential. This movie is inconsequential.
Yeah. Like that's the problem. Is like, no Loki, What If, and especially No Way Home. No Way Home had stakes and specifically consequences. Like people suffered consequences at the end of each one. Like Peter, the consequence Peter suffers at the end of No Way Home is he's alone and he's by himself. He's literally by himself.
Right. He's starting from scratch.
By the end of this movie, Strange is in the same place he started. Like there's no consequence, no arc for him. He's just he's there. He's there again. Like there's nothing changes. And that's the problem with this movie is just like nothing matters because we're doing all this other shit and we're giving you cameos and we're showing you all these variations of different characters. Nothing matters.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's fun. It's fun, but it is utterly forgettable.
I want to get into the one spoiler we can talk about just because this is such a non-entity and it's honestly a waste. Mordo. Let's talk about Mordo because this shit pissed me off.
Yeah, but you really can't talk about that without.
We're not going to talk about the cameos because he's tied to the cameos, but just the character himself. Look, guys, if you're looking for his narrative to be paid off from the first movie, and they explicitly reference where we left him at the end of especially that post-credit scene, like they explicitly talk about it. Yeah, that shit is not paid off. So just I want you guys to know we're gonna have to deal with this motherfucker in the next movie, even though I thought we were gonna deal with him in this one.
This movie doesn't matter.
Yes. Like you could honestly, you could skip this shit and not miss anything. Like that's how inconsequential it is to this whole fucking.
And like I said, it would be fine if it was fine if it was designed as and sold as a standalone movie. But the way they've been selling this is that it's the thing that's going to change everything.
And it's so like there is no thematic story. There's no fucking character story. Like it is just so weightless that you're going to sit here and be like, well, and that's my thing. I was like, so what was the point if there was like no stakes thematically or character wise? We're just watching a bunch of motherfuckers just do shit. Like everything, everywhere, all at once.
Did it so much better.
Yeah, even
everything so much better.
devs. And I think this one is. I think the first movie had a bigger scale than this one because like this one, it's ugly as sin at points to look at. Like it feels like it was cheaply made because I know they did extensive reshoots, and I feel like the reshoots came in where they get to the one universe where the cameos are. Like I felt like that was all reshoots.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Like watching this movie, I was just like, oh, I get why Scott Derrickson was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm out. And you know what? Good for him, because the Black Phone looks amazing, and this shit, I'm just like that's the thing. Like, the Darkhold plays a big part of the story, and that shit is just like, again, doesn't matter. The Book of Vishanti, like, that is like the thing that holds the universe.
They might as well just be MacGuffins.
Yeah,
it might as well just be MacGuffins.
Yeah, man, it is fucking.
It's glowing briefcases.
Spider-Man excluded, so far Phase 4 has been a wet fart where it's just like, yo, y'all are just making shit just to make money. Like, none of this fucking holds any water. So now I'm here sitting looking at Thor, looking at Black Panther, looking at Ant-Man, like, yo, if honestly, once we get to Ant-Man, like, if Ant-Man's gonna be like this and Thor and Black Panther, I'll just stick with the TV shit and I'm done with these movies. Like, Marvel movies, I'm good on, just because now you're just making theme park rides where we just go wee.
You know, you need more characters for the Avengers campus in Disney World. That's what this is.
And what's really disappointing too is they said Doctor Strange is going to be the anchor going forward, and I'm just like, this is the anchor character, and y'all haven't done shit in his second solo movie. Like, it's been 6 years since his first movie, and we're getting another solo movie, and this is it.
Yeah. So, Doctor Strange.
Like, Jeff, I need something to chew on. Like, I need stories, I need character. You know what I mean? Not just shit CG, because a lot of the CG in this is just shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like, the most fun I had was at the beginning where they're battling that giant eye octopus. That shit was fun as fuck. And the musical notes, that was clever. You pointed that out.
Like they actually have a music battle, which is like, there are good parts of this movie, but they're few and far between. I still enjoyed it, but I can't tell anybody to go out and rush it and watch it. You know, the complaints I've had for this one is like what people have been trying to open my eyes to for the longest time. They're just like, yo, these movies are hollow. I don't understand why you like them. Yeah.
It is
because they weren't always hollow. They weren't always.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like, now it's obvious. Like, yo, these motherfuckers are just not even trying.
Yeah. So
I guess that's at the top of next week's episode. I guess we'll get into spoilers so we could talk.
Yeah, we'll give you the weekend, and then we can really get into what my real thoughts on this fucking thing are.
Because I mean, Jesus Christ,
the holes in it.
Yeah.
And like, it's hard to talk about this movie without talking about one of the central twists.
There ain't no twist in this motherfucker.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So, again, next week's episode is going to be a little late because we're seeing Top Gun, and the Top Gun review embargo doesn't break till 9 a.m. Thursday. So, 9 a.m. Thursday, that's when you'll be getting next week's episode.
Danger Zone.
All right. And that's episode 46. We're the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Norwood, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best. It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.